Alright guys, what is good? Quancredible here with a review for Four Nights of Apocalypse chapter 52. In this chapter, I'll be the first person to say it. Nothing super significant happened in this chapter. So if you're one of the people that is really big on like plot progression and like the story really like trucking forward, you're probably not gonna like this one like that because not really too much happened. I mean, the chapter is Percival and Meliodas after all, and it's really just following them around the entire chapter and just them interacting and really getting to see and go around Leonis. The chapter does pick up with Percival, really taking in that Meliodas is the king of Leonis. And right off the bat, we have like Percival laughing at Meliodas because he does have his childlike appearance, still Percival believing him to be a kid of around his age, and that a kid that young can't be the king of Leonis. Now, one thing that I did see in the comments on last week's video, as well as I feel like a lot of people will be thinking about now, is that how come Meliodas does look the exact same, despite it being 16 years in the future, and the fact that his curse is gone, so he should be able to age as normal now. Which, all of these things are true. Time did pass and his curse is broken, so he does, or at least as we should believe, he does age normal. However, the reason I would believe that he still looks the exact same is because at the end of the day, he still is a demon, meaning that like demons don't necessarily age as fast as humans. I believe like a longer lifespan for a demon is around like 1,000 years. So 16 years is really just a drop of, it's a very small drop in the bucket to however old he was before he got cursed. So he really didn't age all like that. Giants, fairies, demons, they don't age nearly as fast as humans. So yeah, he's not really going to change all that much. But right from there, Meliodas is saying that it is nice to meet Percival, and we get like this really heavy shift from Percival, which is way different from how he normally is. But Percival basically saying that, like, oh, you're the one that made, sin. Bring me here, what is the Four Nights of Apocalypse? What is Arthur planning? Why did my granddad have to die? All these really heavy questions coming from Percival, which is really odd because we don't really get this side of Percival very often. But it's one thing that you got to think about when you think all the way back to chapter 2. Percival, like, when he wants to know something, he gets right down to business. Like when he first met Donnie and them, he was like, yes, I'm on the mission to find this dude Ironside who killed my granddad. And so it's like he is straight to the point, and I kind of like that we do get to see this here. And then in classic Meliodas fashion, he deflects. That's one thing that is like, it's low-key toxic about Meliodas. He's low-key super toxic. Because anytime someone has a problem or a serious question, he is the master of deflecting onto something else. So he deflects and they decide to take a walk. He said, we talk about all that later. Let's just go for a walk. It'll be fun. So through this is when they really start to go around Leonis. And this is cool because we get to see a look at current Leonis. And it's one of the things where we didn't get this in Seven Deadly Sins, if you think about it. Seven Deadly Sins, when they went to Leonis, it was to, liberate, the castle and free Barda and stop the Holy Knight. So there wasn't this whole moment of, really lazily going through Leonis and just seeing how it is. And in their first stop, they go to Hendrickson's clinic, and Dreyfus is still there. Nothing of any importance happens here, but I like the little fact that Percival, like, he knows that it's a clinic, so he's like, oh, I should show this to Nance. I kind of like how thoughtful he is here. And then from here we go to the Forge, which I don't know if any of you remember, Hauser's dad was the one that ran the Forge in actual Seven Deadly Sins. So it would make sense that Hauser would be supposed to take over it, but he's, the commander of the Holy Knight, so he can't. So instead, Zeal works there. Now, Zeal is Gilia's younger brother. I'm not for sure if people remember that, or if you haven't read Seven Deadly Sins, that this is this Holy Knight's younger brother, who is just a child. I don't think we knew how old he was, but a lot of time has passed, so it makes sense that he's old and working in the Forge now. It also makes me wonder, was there a thing between Hauser and Gilead at some point? Like, I feel like I'm probably not the only person who's going to think this, but the fact that Zeal is working there makes me think that maybe there is something in between them. Because I remember Hauser was always super butthurt that he could never get into, like, a relationship, or that he was the only one out of his group with Gil Thunder, Griamore, and himself. Gil Thunder had Margaret, and, like, Griamore had Veronica, so, like, and Hauser was just by himself. So I kind of wonder, and then he would have had Diane if King didn't have her. So like, he really got shafted in terms of the relationship. So maybe him and Gilead were a thing at some point, maybe. Who knows? And in this part here, they're continuing to walk through like the markets and stuff. And when I seen this like stomp like in the panel when Percival was asking about what the rumbling is, and I really, well, not that kind of, not the Attack on Titan rumbling, that's where my brain went, but where the stomping rumbling in this panel what was like coming from. It made me think that I wonder where we're gonna get small Diane reveal in this chapter. But no, we did not. It's just a regular giant. We just get to see that giants and fairies also live in Leonis. You know, post Holy War, that like Meliodas said, they did integrate into their society. So you know, they just have giants and fairies. Which, and it's funny because it really seems like Leonis, current Leonis, was the ideal kingdom Arthur was trying to create in Seven Deadly Sins, but it's here now, but in the shape of Leonis, and it makes you wonder even more so why Arthur is so against all of this. And then from here we get Percival asking, you know, Meliodas, are there any demons that live in Leonis? And Meliodas like, who would want to live with demons? And you know, Percival loves everyone. So he's like, you know, he talks about how he met the demons with Gowther up in the Dalfar Range, and that he actually became friends with them, and he's talking to Meliodas in the demon language, which, you know, he's trying to be like funny because like he's trying to be funny because like he's assuming Meliodas does not know what he's saying, but Meliodas, being, you know, an actual demon, can converse with him in this demon language, which is funny because I don't ever think we've seen Meliodas speak in the demon language. Like I don't even remember the demon language in Seven Deadly Sins at all. So like I thought it's the first time we've ever seen him speak that, and it's one of the things where I wonder why Meliodas is keeping this a secret. Like it could be because I remember Nakaba said when he was making this series, or like one of the things he said about Four Nights of Apocalypse, is that he wanted people to who haven't even read Seven Deadly Sins be able to read this and enjoy it. And I really do think that if you've never read Seven Deadly Sins, like if you don't have any background on any of these characters, I feel like the story would be really fun to read. Because you would have these questions of like, oh, what is Meliodas? Like, why does he know the demon language? Like, why does he look like a kid? You kind of have all these questions, which I feel like, Four Nights of Apocalypse would be really fun to read. I feel like without any prior knowledge, it really would be though. But moving on from that, they do like, you know, get to the, you know, top of this little cliff or mountain or whatever, and they look out, see everything. It's all nice. You know, they point out this other kingdom that Griamore is actually the leader of a small nation, which is kind of wild. I'm not for sure really why he is. It makes me wonder if Guild Thunder is. Like, I wonder if, like, the other two sisters, you know, Veronica and Margaret, both got their own small nations to, you know, kind of be over, and, like, Griamore and Guild Thunder maybe are leaders of a nation. It would kind of make sense because Hauser was always, like, trailing behind them in terms of like social status. So like I wonder that would just be a really funny thing if, you know, Hauser, while he is the commander of the Holy Knights, the other two elite nations, so it's like he's still kind of the low man in that aspect, despite him being the strongest of the trio. But from here, you know, Percival is saying, you know, he can tell everyone loves Leonis. Everybody here is like really happy. And then we get this really like serious moment for Meliodas, and all this is going to end like it's all going away soon. So he wants Percival to help them, and that is essentially the chapter. Like I said, we went through it, but nothing really super significant through here. I mean, there wasn't really any new cameos outside of Zeal, so unless you were like a die-hard Zeal or Gilia fan, probably not really too many gems for you there. There is some speculation here because Meliodas does say that he wants to wait till everyone gets all together before, you know, talking about everything he wants to talk about. So I feel like you could look at this as they already have all four knights of the apocalypse. They were just waiting on Percival. So like Lancelot, Tristan, Percival, and then whoever the other person is, they're already here. Or you could look at it as like Meliodas is going to tell them, is going to just tell Percival's group plus Lancelot, you know, what's going on. Or maybe Percival's group, Lancelot and Tristan, all what's going on, and then they go out to find this other guy. Or maybe the other guy's already there and they have to go grab Tristan. There's kind of a lot of different ways you could interpret it of like what combination of people could be there already. Now, I will say I don't think all four of them are already there, just because I feel like that would fast track this story super fast. Like if the four knights are already all here, its story's going to go by mad fast. Like that's like 50 chapters just out the window like immediately. So like that could literally be like 2 arcs. That could be like almost 100, like 2 arcs just gone like in like a flash. So I don't think that they're all there already. But that's just me. I mean, it could be, but I just don't think so. The only outside of this being a really slow chapter, I was really upset that we didn't get to see Tristan and especially Elizabeth. I was really, really, really expecting to see Elizabeth in this chapter. I'm not for sure where she could be, because typically Meliodas and Elizabeth are not that far from each other. So I wonder if like maybe Arthur did something to her, or is Elizabeth on a journey trying to help people? Like I'm just kind of wondering where she could have been in the midst of all of this. But we can only speculate from here. So I honestly give this chapter maybe like a 5 or a 6, probably like a 5. 5 isn't bad for anybody that's thinking that's a bad score. 5 is just average. On my scale of 1 to 10, 5 is average because it's in the middle of 1 and 10. That's pretty logical there. So 5, I feel like it was just a average chapter, you know. you know, right in the middle. But don't get it confused, I did still like the chapter. And on the topic of liking, make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy the review. Make sure you guys give me your comments and thoughts, what you think is going to happen down below, all that. I do like reading through it and, like, you know, talking with you guys in the comments about like what you guys think is going to happen or what is happening, or just seeing, you know, people's overall thoughts on everything. But that aside, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.